This episode is brought to you by our friends over at First Player, the steampunk mechanical gaming keyboard. If you're in the market for a new mechanical gaming keyboard while keeping a close eye on your wallet, you should check out Steampunk. It's specially designed for esports gamers. Features a Cherry MX switch, red LED backlights, and features various lighting effects such as breathing, wave, and static. Seeing is believing. Conquer through play. First Player, your best choice for gaming accessories. For more details, check out the link below. Hello! Hey! Sup? What's up, guys? Jesse here from JP Modified. This week's episode is based on a Thermaltake Core P3, Part 3. What's P mean? Does anyone know what the letters actually mean on, certain products like a P3 or a V2, something like that? Here's a little fun fact. I was the first one to ever release a mod for the Core P3. I named it Project Orange. This time again, I got another opportunity to build with a Core P3. Let's check out the video.
Hello everyone, it's me, Jebby. I'm back here again for this week's video, featuring an urban camo theme for this week's build. So first off, we will be removing the heat sinks of the board, and then we will be painting that camo. So for the base, we're going with white. So this is the first time that we attempted to make a camo paint job. So basically everything is trial and error. So the first thing I tried is to cut out little camo shapes on a piece of cardboard, and the paint that we will be using for this is silver and flat black gray. So first we laid out the pattern and then painted the first layer of color, wait for it to dry, and then go over it again using the other stencil and the other color. So next is to make a custom IO cover because the board doesn't come with it. And we're going to make this camo as well. So for the IO cover, we did the same thing. We did it off camera, but it's basically the same. And here is how it looks like. So we also decided to do the same to the CPU block, which is by EK. Since this is our first time, we're not really experts on how to get the camo effect, but I think we're pretty happy with how it turned out. So what you can see from just watching the speed up videos that we have is that there is definitely a lot of trial and error. So for example, if Jesse doesn't like one thing that he made, then he's going to redo that to make it better, like this IO cover. So he made another one, a new one. So at this point, we decided to change the stencils that we will be using for painting. So a lot of you have asked where we get our stencils from or where we get our stickers from. This is what we use, a silhouette portrait sticker cutter. Basically, we just map out our designs and then it would automatically cut out the shapes. I will be putting a link in the description below if you want to check it out. So these are the stencils that were cut, and for this build we will be using the Core P3. So now here we're painting the back of the case. Just putting over the stencil, going with the lightest color first, which is the silver, and then letting it dry, and then going back with the darker color. So since this is just my first time, there's a lot of overspray happening. I did try my best to even that out. It did turn out pretty well. This is the new IO cover that we made. So moving on to the radiator. Again, we're going to use the same technique. Using the same stencil, we first went over it with the lighter color, and you have a cow. Just kidding. So I did the same thing with all the sides, and once that's dry, go over it again using the darker color. And it's finished. So again, it's not really perfect, but when you look at it overall, it works. As you can see, there is a little bit of GPU sag happening here. So what we're gonna do is make a support using this acrylic piece that we practiced the camo thing on. Bend it using the bender, and this is what we have. Attach it to the side of the radiator, so there, it's much better, much straighter. Alright, so moving on to the GPU backplate, we started with a white base and then used the stencils to make camo patterns.
I've water-cooled so many builds in the past. One of the first things that needs to be removed are hard disk bays. Luckily, I never throw them away. Since the client had 3 hard disks, it would be really tricky to put them in the P3. So I decided to repurpose some of the old ones that I've kept aside. This reservoir was from a previous build that we did. It was too big, so we decided to downsize it a little. Then I proceeded to make the power supply cover. The reason why I made the power supply cover first is because it's where I was going to mount the pump and the reservoir. After I secured the power supply cover, I then proceeded with the loop. About this time last year, Andy, my friend over from Thermaltake, sent me a couple of prototype PETG tubes. These PETG tubes were made to look like stainless steel. No, they were not meant to look like chrome copper. They were made to look like stainless steel. Here you can see a couple of differences and similarities. If you hit the stainless tube with another piece of metal, you'll hear the ting sound. If you hit the PETG, it'll sound like tok. It'll have a tok sound. So ting tok, stainless steel, PETG, PETG, stainless steel, PETG stainless steel, PETG stainless steel, PETG. I then proceeded with other parts of the mod. Building the loop is probably one of the most challenging parts of water cooling, because you have to carefully think where the tubes will go. To me, it's not a matter of just connecting A, B to C to D to E. finished product was really nice. I really liked how the fake stainless tubing looked with the build. However, there were too many imperfections on the tubes that I just couldn't ignore. There were too many tarnishes and too many chips, and a lot of the stainless coating already chipped off. Now mind you, I've had these tubes for a little bit over a year now, and they've been stored, and it's probably why the tubes lost the beauty. So I just went ahead and painted it black, and we're going to upgrade the tubing with real metal pipes a few weeks before a show that's going to be held here in Cebu City. But for now, black will have to do.
Yeah, we said we let it go, but we settled for the last. Couldn't let you want it though. Who am I to let you down? No, who am I to let you down? Down, down. If you let me walk away, maybe then we'd lose it all. No.
Woo! Round of applause. That build was a great build. Woo! Alright, so as I mentioned earlier in the video, I wished that I could have kept the chrome tubing on the build. It looked a lot better with the chrome tubing. It's just that the little things I just couldn't ignore. I mean, not in that case, it wasn't so little. There were too many tarnishes and too many chips that peeled off of the tube. It was okay if you don't put any water in it, but once you filled it out, especially with colored coolant, you would see the actual color of the coolant, travel through the tubes. So it didn't really look right to me. So I just painted it black to make it a little bit more neutral. We are going to upgrade the tubes to real metal pipes soon because we are putting it on display at an event that's going to take place about 4 weeks from now here in Cebu City, Philippines. So don't go pull out your hair yet. I will be updating the updated pictures on Facebook. I'll also put it on my website, which I have not updated in a while, but I will in the next day or two. Once again, this is Jesse from JP Modified. Let me leave you with a little quote this week. In modding, it's not about the parts, it's about the art. And we showed you that on this episode. See you next week. Mod on! Mod on!